Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The campaign is Spawn of Azathoth. It was written by Doc Herber, and our game master is John Hook. This is episode 8. Our recap will be given by Josh Harwood as his character, Zebedee Cabrera. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Josh?
Is this a dream? But it feels real. It doesn't look like a dream. Peasant clothing, rolling cart, a family. Bump into a family where we're a little caught off guard by them, but we went with them. They took us to this place called Ulthar, something like that. I didn't quite catch the pronunciation, but it all seems so weird. It feels like it's medieval period. It feels like something I have studied, I have taught, I have lectured, but there's just something off. But it's got to be a dream, right? It has to be. This can't be real. It can't be reality. It makes my head spin just thinking about it. But I'm on the same. Sometimes I feel like I'm on the same wavelength with Zeno, and this feels just like Zeno's area of expertise. But there's got to be a reasonable explanation. Yes, there's got to be. Why does it feel like I've gone back in time, yet I should be dreaming? And then Zeno can speak to cats. Cats guide us to a library. And we go further down and something was off. Really off. A man in Native American style clothing, but he was albino. Doesn't sound odd, but it is odd in a medieval setting. And then me, Cornelius, and Frederick end up in a chase. I don't know where Zeno and Myron are right now, but this is all too much. A dream? It feels real. It feels like we've gone back in time. Like, this can't be true. I feel like my head's going to explode. But we have to continue this chase. Whoever this guy is, he must know more when he's letting on, and he's got something that we need, that book. So back to reality, I guess.
Very good. Very good. All right. Let's do exactly that. Let's cut to the chase. So Cornelius, Zebedee, and Frederick are in pursuit of the albino Native American. He's got a little bit of a head start on you as you guys begin to rush your way towards him. So to begin a chase, everyone please make a dex roll.
39 out of
82 out of 45.
28 is a pass.
It's a standard pass only.
So standard passes and one fail. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 standard passes and 1 fail. I had a hard success. Let's see here. Okay. So it looks like Cornelius is our fastest character. And so with your success... All right, so apologize here. Let me see here. Okay. Okay, so each of you will get to do I believe it's just one action in addition to the move. Okay, so he seems to be moving fairly quickly. He's got that large tome under his arm, and he's ducking into one of these corridors that spokes out from the center wheel, if you will, that round room that is the main portion of the library. And there's a lot of hallways that are at the same floor level as the room, but there's a few other ones that are elevated. Like you guys entered from an elevated corridor, and there was a platform. You had to come down those stairs to get to the ground level. So there's a bunch of hallways at the ground level, and there's a few, but fewer ones that are on those elevated platforms. He goes in one of the corridors at that ground level that was right behind him, right by his table. And so as he's ducked into there, you guys like give chase and give pursuit. So Cornelius, as you are trying to pursue after the albino, as it happens, there's a cluster of people that kind of stand up from their table, and they've gotten in your way. So you'll need to do, and this will be true for all of you, but Cornelius will be first since he has the highest dex or highest move rate. You'll need to do a dex test to try and avoid these, to get past them, thread through them.
Oh, I tackle one of them. 97.
Oh, yes. You and this individual go down in a heap, and you fall to the floor. Zebedee, you may attempt to do a dex to get past, unless you choose to stop and help your friend up.
I am going to help my war buddy and best friend, of course.
Okay, all right. No roll is required for that. Frederick, what do you want to do?
We gotta get that book, so
make a dex test to get past this congestion of people.
This is like a football move. Zeb and I are tackling the group.
54, so I'm going to spend 4 points of luck to pass.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, so we're going to have Cornelius and Zeb back there. We're going to put the albino there. Okay, great. So the spoke, this corridor that's just kind of going outward, you can see that there's a stone archway, and then once you get through the stone archway, it's just lined with wooden bookshelves, and there's all kinds of books. And about every 15 feet or so is a stone column, and there's sconces on the walls with the small braziers of lit fire illuminating this corridor. And this corridor is fairly populated. I mean, there's people in here, looking at books on shelves and kind of checking out the stuff. And the albino is, threading his way through here. So you are keeping up, but he seems to be starting to pull away. He's got some long legs on him. He seems to be moving. Everyone make another dex test. As Zebedee, you've helped Cornelius up. You guys, actually, Zebedee and Cornelius, I need you guys to roll penalty dice because of the heap in the pile that you were in that was keeping you held back.
I can only get worse than 81, so let's see if I get worse than 81.
All right, even with a penalty die, Cornelius was okay, and Frederick.
And I passed regular.
I got 98 with the penalty. So that's even worse.
No, even worse. Even worse. Cornelius, give me a luck roll.
All right. Oh, that's really bad. Yeah, 96.
Yeah. Zebedee he tripped and fell over his own feet after untangling himself and you from that pile of people. But when Zebedee fell, he grabbed onto you for support, and you fell as well. So the two of you, Laurel and Hardy, back to the floor again.
Just a carry on film.
Leaving Frederick taking off on his own after the albino. And give me a spot hidden if you would, Frederick.
31 is a success.
Okay, you do see him as he went ahead a bit, and then these spokes, you now realize every now and then there is side passages that occur also, and so he took a right down a side passage. So you eyeballed that, you saw that, and so you are on your way towards that, and a capuchin monkey, a little white-furred, white-faced monkey is on the shelves, and it seems to be throwing something at you. You can make a dodge roll.
67 is a fail.
Is a fail. Okay, you feel your chest get splatted with something disgusting, yeah, it's just gross that this monkey did this to you. Give me a luck roll to see if it slows you down.
That's a 17.
It does not slow you down. Fantastic. At this point, Zebedee and Cornelius are out of the chase. They are too far behind and cannot catch back up. Only Frederick is in the hunt for this. So I need Frederick to give me another dex test, please. My dice are hot today.
Still just a regular pass.
I have an extreme success.
Oh.
So you duck down that corner, around the corner, and into another side passage. Give me a spot hidden.
47 is a success.
Okay. You just catch a glimpse of one leg as it was disappearing down another passage, another spoke that he must have turned up, made a left into. And there is a painting, an oil painting next to you, and it looks to be a painting of a beggar. And weirdly enough, this painting is actually moving. It's in motion, and so this beggar is shaking a tin cup as he's leaning on a staff, and he's shaking it out towards you.
I just tossed him my few coins. They're not worth much, so I just keep running. I just don't want him to get in my way.
Okay. So you do give the beggar money.
Yeah, I have.
All right. Give me
coins.
Give me a power roll if you would, please.
01.
Okay. Fantastic. Wow. All right. Yeah. So you throw money into this tin cup as you keep moving on, and just kind of out of the corner of your eye as you're going on, you can see the beggar in the painting kind of stands more erect and kind of does that thing with his shoulders, and so all these rags and foul clothing that the beggar was wearing kind of are pitched off the back of his shoulders, and just as you're losing sight of the painting, the figure seems to be standing much more erect and is almost illuminated with this. He seems to be wearing mailed armor and a white tabard, and just it's this character seems to be glowing, and the character is kind of like raising a hand towards you, and you feel very invigorated, in a way that you haven't felt invigorated in quite some time. I would like you to restore 10 points of luck to your character, and you have a bonus die that you can keep in reserve, and at your pleasure you may invoke a bonus die on any one skill test that you choose in the coming future.
Okay, excellent.
Wow, that was awesome. I didn't think you were going to throw money at him. It was basically like the Fisher King, right? Okay. Give one last dex test.
No, don't. Oh, feel it at the end. 87.
Okay. So you get to that hallway and you turn and look, and you don't see the albino. But give me a spot hidden if you would, please.
Okay, a 17 is a hard success.
You do see, these hallways are bookcase. They're bookshelves, right? They're completely lined with books, and they're all uniformly in the shelf itself. So all the spines are with some minor variances. All the spines are pretty much aligned with each other, but there is one book that you spy at about eye level that is pronouncedly out of alignment with all the other books.
I'll grab it.
You have found the book that you were looking for, the Chathot
Aquadonin.
There you go. You say it much better than I do. It's there. It's there on the shelf. And you do recognize it as, oh, hey, this is the tome that the albino was carrying.
Oh. On it. And now I'm looking around for him still. Maybe like trying to listen if I hear like footsteps going pattering across the stone or wooden floors.
You can give a listen if you'd like.
Hey, it's nice enough for him to leave it. But no, that's not a success.
Yep, you don't hear anything.
Well, I suppose I'll make my way back and past that painting again.
Okay, you pass the painting again, and it's just a landscape.
Huh. This place is strange. I'm gonna go back and find those other two. I don't know where the hell they went, but
you hear music as you come back, and they're standing and falling over each other, trying to stand back up.
When you two are done laying down on the floor, I got the book.
Oh, did he give it to you? Did you catch up with him, or?
No, he was very fast. I'm not the fastest man myself, but he left it on a shelf.
He left it on a.
He ducked around a corner, and by the time I got there, he had just stuck it randomly on the shelf. I almost missed it, trying to still chase after him. I barely caught it out of my eye.
Oh, that was lucky then. It was extremely.
I'd say.
Well,
very curious. Let's go find a reading nook and see what's in here.
Yeah, I'm very
definitely.
So,
we need to keep an eye out for that man though, because he might know more. But
Okay.
for
So the library doesn't really have like, private areas. I mean, there's just tables all over. So there's an open table you guys can sit at and peruse the book. While you guys settle in with the book and find your table, let's return to Dr. Zeno Saladin. What are you doing? What were you doing when we last left you, Doctor?
Well, as I recall, I was just looking around to see what books I could find.
Oh, that's right.
I saw the weird paintings.
Yeah.
I didn't care for that.
Yeah, they were quite unusual.
I'm curious to see if I can find anything about the Dreamlands. Maybe just ask the head librarian. It's like, where can I find books on the Dreamlands?
Okay. So you have a conversation with the librarian, and you ask about the Dreamlands. You call it the Dreamlands. And so he says, I guess I don't follow what you're meaning. You want a book about dreams, about sleeping?
I'd like dreams. I like books, something about where we are right now.
You want books on the history of Ulthar?
Yes, that works.
Oh, absolutely. We actually have a fine selection right over here, and there's like a small waist high bookshelf and double sided, and it seems to be stocked with books on Ulthar.
Okay, I'll sit down and I'll pick one up and see what I find.
Okay. Why don't you give me a
library?
Yeah, you can do library use. Sure.
I got a 38 out of 55, so regular pass.
So you are browsing this book on Ulthar, and you come to a portion that talks about the ruling body, the individual person who rules over Ulthar, Burgermeister Cranon. Burgermeister Cranon.
Okay.
And there is an excellent illustration of Burgermeister Cranon.
Oh.
Incredibly detailed and lifelike. And as you look at this portrait of the Burgermeister, you are taken aback as you look at this person, and you say, "Oh, it's Matthew White. It's the manservant for Father Baxter, Philip Baxter's older brother, who's wheelchair bound, who is, the priest who's wheelchair bound, who gave you the sleeping draught, to come to Ulthar in the first place. Since he's physically lame, he has a manservant who helps him, who is mute, physically strong, but he's never spoken, and yet that image of Burgermeister Cranon is exactly Matthew White, from the person that you know as Matthew White.
Very interesting.
Helps.
I'd like to meet the Burgermeister. Very interesting. Is there any history on the Burgermeister?
Yeah. So the book talks about how the Burgermeister is just a powerful man who's charitable, and
how long has he been Burgermeister?
Beloved, and he's been Burgermeister. is vague. It just says quite some time.
And that was Matthew White, you said.
Yes.
So I wonder if we all have corresponding people in both real world, and it's an interesting concept. All right, well, I passed that by. It suddenly dawns on me. I wonder if our friend, geez, I can never remember his name. Our first fellow, the guy that started this whole thing for us, Philip. Not Philip. Is it Philip Baxter?
Philip Baxter?
Right, the guy that died.
Yeah, Philip Baxter is the one who died.
I wonder if he came here. I wonder if I'm going to go ask the librarian if there's a way that I can see if he is a card-carrying member of the library, so to speak. You know, if he's been here, if he's checked out books.
Okay. How would you want to go about doing that?
I don't know. I'm going to ask the librarian. How would I go about finding out if there was somebody who came here before?
I
Do
don't.
they register?
He thinks about it. He drums his fingers on the counter. He says, well, that's a very unusual question. I keep all records of people who are patrons and borrow books. We issue them certificates that they can use to borrow books.
Do you have any Baxters on the list?
I'm not very comfortable in sharing that. I guess it seems unusual for someone to be asking.
Well, we're actually friends. One of the reasons why we're here. We're afraid that he has passed away, but we don't know that for sure. We're trying to find him. If you can't help me, I understand.
That seems like a very persuasive argument.
Got a 24 on my persuade. That's not very good. I'm not very good at persuading, I guess.
You're going to stick with your failure?
Failure. I could turn it into charm, and then I would have gotten a hard.
Well, you didn't sound charming to me. You sounded very persuasive to me.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll spend some luck. What was it, 24? I have to spend 14 points of luck.
See, that isn't so bad. You might find a Fisher King photo you can throw some coins at. Who knows?
All right, I'll spend the luck.
He says, you seem like a nice enough fellow, and I definitely want to help you out. And so he pulls out a record book that he keeps behind the desk, and he starts thumbing through it, and he draws his finger down, and he goes, yes, I have a Baxter, a Philip Baxter.
Philip Baxter.
Yes, indeed.
When was he last here? Or what did he check out?
It looks like, well, I don't have a record of him actually taking any books out. He did register for a certificate, but he doesn't seem to have used it. Although I do seem to remember him, and he did have several visits to the library. But he would just use the books in the library. He wouldn't check them out per se. But it's been quite some time since I've seen him.
Any ideas of what he was interested in? I don't know if you recall.
Hard to say. I don't recall. I'm sorry.
There was a book I seem to recall him talking about, and I'll say the name of the book, the Chatterat.
Cathot Aquadonin.
Cathot Aquadonin.
That's right. I do think I remember him asking about that. Yeah, but he didn't check it out. He did just simply view it here in the library, and then.
Where might I find that book?
funny you should ask. You're the third person to ask about that today.
Really?
Well, I know there was a gentleman who was who had it who was reading it, but I don't seem to see him anymore. But I do see a gentleman who was asking about it. He's over there, and you see Frederick, and you see Zebedee and
Okay. Well,
Cornelius.
those are my other friends. So yeah, okay. I'm not surprised. All right. So as long as we're on the right track. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Very good. Very good. And so now we join Myron. Myron, what was your last encounter in the library? What were you doing?
I had, curiously enough, seen a patron of the library who was evidently not human. Reptilian, tall, strange gait, tail tucking out from under his garb. So I naturally hide after the thing. It's the first really strange thing in the Dreamlands, except of course for the crazy man talking to the cats, but he would dream that. But as soon as I turned the corner, that figure was gone. And there was a librarian there who was of no help. He'd been nodding off. And I'm trying to think, the curved passage I took between spokes, I mean, when I saw the reptilian thing pass, it was absorbed in something it was reading and moving fairly slowly. And so I hurried down the passage and turned after it, but I assume that the passage between spokes is shorter than the passage along the long, so it would have had to hurry or vanish or go into a secret bookshelf chamber. And all of these things, of course, are possible here. What is the ceiling like in these passages?
Arched and stone.
Uh-huh. And quite regular. And there are pools of darkness between the little braziers. All right, well, I'm going to hustle down to the next arced area to see if I can catch sight of the thing in either direction. Should I assume that I do not?
You may assume that you do not, correct.
And for that reason, I was also told by the monkish librarian that this passage leads to South America. But of course, it goes on into the distance as far as I can see.
It does.
And there aren't any golf carts or mine carts or means of conveyance evident. So I'm gonna give this passage between the turn that I made where the thing disappeared and the next turn that I've reached. I'm gonna give it a going over. I'm gonna look for what kinds of books are on the shelf, and if there's any indication of a smaller side passage or a door that looks like books or anything else that can explain where that thing, which wasn't trying to hide itself when I saw it, was just walking along reading, how it vanished without a clue.
Okay. Yeah, so you start paying really close attention to the books that are in this particular passageway, and it seems to be books on history, but they seem to be of locations, regions, and time periods that are complete, and peoples that you're completely unfamiliar with. You're not exactly sure what the War of the Men of Lang, what that even means. And so yeah, you seem to be in a section for history, but it doesn't seem to be any place that you're quite familiar with. It's probably it could be of obscure Asian nation histories or time periods that maybe predate Western European areas, maybe some lands that had been, in their original tongue and original naming before being renamed. I mean, it's hard to tell. You're just not sure what kind of histories you're seeing here.
The book titles are in English.
Yeah, it seems to be. Sometimes the books are a little. Maybe your eyes are a little fuzzy. But as you like put hands on a book and kind of start like focusing on it, it comes to you like, oh no, this is in English. I don't know why I couldn't read that from arm's length distance, but now that I'm really looking at it, I can see this. I can read this.
Right, which is another new element that feels familiar from dreams that I am accustomed to. There are, of course, no numbers or insignia on the pillars between or in the books themselves.
You can find no logic on why these books are organized like this. As far as you could tell, people are just putting them here, but they just happen to put all the history ones here.
And if I open, they're leather and cloth bound, or all leather bound?
Absolutely, yeah, both.
But there aren't paperbacks.
No.
So, I'm going to choose a book at random based on the color of the spine, and I'm going to look for publishing information after the title page.
Okay.
Colophon, print date, anything like that.
There's nothing of that type of print date and stuff. You see annotations about monasteries. You see you see notations like transcribed by from this person, transcribed by this person, almost as if someone was giving an oral account and someone else wrote this down. But you don't find like publishing houses or dates. It just seems to be maybe annotating, if it has annotations at all. Some are completely without annotations, but it might talk about the religious order that conducted the scripting and illumination of the book, or somebody who wrote it, the author, but not much else beyond that.
Right, in keeping with the sort of timelessness of this place, it's nothing about the city of Ulthar makes sense in a modern capitalist world. Damn it.
Right.
Very well. I know which direction the hub of this wheel is, and I don't know what have happened to the fellows, so I'm going to go and look for them around the librarian's desk.
Okay. All right. So you are returning. Gentlemen.
I'm sorry. One thing I meant to clarify, the reptilian person was dressed like most people here and sort of...
He had a flowing robe.
Okay, that's why the tail was visible, because there was, so that looked, but there was the friar fellow. So in the mix, there's more or less monastic garb as well as simple.
Yeah, and you can, you guys are in like peasant garb, very simple handmade clothing. There are some people who are wearing, it's also handmade, but it's definitely of a more masterful design and creation. Better colors, better trim, better stitching. So there's definitely levels of wealth displayed in people's clothing, and you guys are displaying, just through your clothing, more of a mid to lower class, lower income level type of clothing.
And we dreamt ourselves into sandals, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep an eye out as I go back to look for the others, for outfits that look academic or monastic in particular.
Okay.
That might be more useful.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna. I'll come back to you on that. So let's rejoin Frederick and Zebedee and Cornelius at the table. and you have the book. And you you want to kind of skim through it?
Yeah. There's a little bit of catching my breath first after chasing this person through the library, but
Well done, Frederick. At least we have a book.
yeah, that's a. I was worried we'd lost it.
Yeah.
So this is where in the journal that we read from Baxter, he said that this is what told him about the god in the northern forests. So and with that in mind, I'm skimming through it.
Okay, so as you skim through it, you come across a passage that feels pertinent.
Okay. Deep within perfumed Glade, where life turns to death, he of the green cloaked horrors, he who waits in the glade, he who turns and watches, he who sees and knows all, waits for the time of coming. The stars fall, the beast bred of stone rampages, and a time of great change comes. The watcher in the glade knows the time and place of the coming.
Very interesting.
So this must be, this watcher of the glade must be, nothing about a wish though, but it's like some kind of prophet of sorts, and knows some kind of great catastrophe that's coming. Some kind of star falling, according to this.
Our map didn't have something labeled as the Glade, did it?
It had Glade. It's in the forest of Glade, which is on the map that we have. It's way north of here, though. We're like in the south.
Yeah, we went south.
But that is at least we have a location. Well, sort of, but can you make any sense of it, Frederick?
Oh, this look, this is like religious mumbo jumbo. I mean, they're talking about the stars falling and the end of the world. That's a very common thing. If there's some kind of entity out in the woods that can tell you, when the end is coming.
Well,
And I believe at this time Dr. Zeno has joined you now.
Just for man who can offer some spiritual know-how.
Dr. Saladin.
Oh dear.
What's up?
This might be an interesting read for you.
Read this.
Oh, we were just trying to find this. Apparently, Philip came here a number of times looking for that book.
We're not the only party that's interested in it.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. It's at first it just seems like mumbo jumbo, some sort of thing in the jungle of Glade.
Yes, the Watcher of the Glade.
I don't know. It sounds like constantly, you hear these sort of terms. People try to make things sound so mysterious.
Frederick.
Yes.
As you were flicking through the book, and something that kind of drew you to this particular page is you have a recollection of the dream journal notes that Philip had made about how he had seen in his dreams some Chinese, Mandarin Chinese script, and had committed it to memory, and then had recopied it in the waking world, and had given it to one of his friends.
That's right. It was part of his will he gave, and that guy, the professor of Asian languages.
Professor Wilson, Francis Wilson, and he's the one who left town immediately from the funeral. But as you found this particular page and the script that you found, on the side margin of that page, running vertically down the margin, is Chinese Mandarin script.
Oh, there's some annotations here written in what looks like Chinese. Do any of you gentlemen know Mandarin?
French, Latin,
I
English.
know Spanish.
See,
Yeah, none of those sound like Mandarin to me. Do you know?
See? See? Is that the similar, right?
Frederick, did at any time the albino would duck out of sight when you were in pursuit?
Yes, he took all sorts of turns.
Then I am curious. We should take a new look at this book for any torn out pages.
Well, I'm
Because
curious.
if he had it and he wanted it to escape with it,
No,
why
no,
would he
no.
leave it
I
behind?
don't. If he wanted to escape with it, he would have just taken it. I think his real concern is that we were just going to keep following him.
And he could have just dumped it, hoping that Frederick would have ran past, and then he could have been slipped back and picked it back up. And
No, I mean, I all but lost him. I think he.
I just want to make sure he didn't find a page that had important information that he tore out of the book.
Well, if I come across a torn page, I'll let you know.
And in my mind, as you guys are having this conversation at the table, Dr. Saladin has joined you also. So the four of you are at this table. Let me know if I'm wrong. Frederick is the one seated with the book in front of him. Frederick's hands are on the book. Am I
Yes.
wrong about that?
No,
Right.
that is correct.
That is correct.
Frederick-
I'm standing next to him. That's all.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
Frederick, I
I'm not.
need you to give me a SAN roll, if you would, please.
we're all
As-
sort of looking over his shoulder.
Yeah. That's what I was kind of thinking, is that Frederick is there. He's the one really in possession, if you will, of the book. Hands are on the book. So Frederick, as your buddies are having this kind of crosstalk conversation, hypothesizing about different things, your attention keeps kind of drifting away from the conversation that's around you, because you keep hearing these whispers, I mean, these whisperings are just at the very fringes of your attention, and they keep getting a little bit louder and a little bit louder, and they keep drawing your attention, and your eye keeps going to this book, and you don't know why, but you feel like some of the text, it's obviously you're tired, it's a figment of your imagination, but you feel like some of the text, on occasion a letter might change, where the letter itself doesn't change, but the font style adjusts. And so especially on those illuminated letters, the big ones that lead off, it might be in a script of like this, and then it'll kind of twist and morph, and while it's still the same letter, now the scripture on it is slightly different, and maybe the coloring is a little different in the box that it's in. So, and it's a little bit maddening. How did that sand roll go?
I passed it.
You're gonna lose 0, but you have these whisperings kind of at your at
I'm trying to
the
focus
back of
in on
your
what they're saying. The whispers.
It's hard
English?
to
Is
tell.
it-
It's hard to tell. It seems to be a mishmash of languages.
Dream keeps getting stranger and stranger. Gave money to a painting. Okay, I'm gonna try to really. I mean, Baxter was able to memorize these characters and have them translated later, so I'm gonna try to commit those characters to memory.
Give me an idea roll.
Nope, 88's no good.
Okay. Try as you might, you feel inadequate because you don't know the language at all, and then you feel like, I'm just going to screw this up, and you're just not able to commit this to memory. So while you guys are having this conversation about the book and about Baxter and what may be going on, Myron is working his way back to the library itself. Give me a spot hidden, Myron.
Oh, I couldn't have failed that more thoroughly with a 95.
All right. You come back to the library through one of those arches, and it's almost as if the room, just enough people coincidentally just kind of moved out of your way and cleared a visual path. And at the opposite side of the room, you see the table with your 3 or 4 friends huddled around a book that they're apparently all reviewing, with Frederick basically kind of there, driving.
And this, again, in this sort of hub in the middle, there are many people studying books at tables,
Yeah.
sort of scattered in a few rows as it goes around.
Yeah, they're kind of all over.
There are probably also tables that people have left books behind on for librarians to put away.
Absolutely.
I'm going to just snatch one up at random. I have a dream logic feeling that because there's no structure to this library inherently, that if you pick up a book, it might be the one you're looking for. I'm just going to take one up and then work my way over to the fellows.
Okay.
And I'm not going to even look at it. I'm just going to tuck it on my arm, and because I have to weave around people.
Okay. All right. Was there anything in particular you were looking for? Anything that was a goal?
I think the book that I need to find is going to find me in this place.
Okay. I like it. Give me a luck roll.
Okay. Oh, I rolled an 8. So that's a super. I had a 47.
I like it. Okay. Fantastic. So you have picked up a book, and you have picked up a book, and you have you're on your way back, and you have rejoined your companions at that table, and they have a fairly large tome that they are flicking through.
It's good to see you all. Before I ask anything else, have any of you seen anyone in here that isn't human?
There was a monkey that decided to.
Okay, I didn't see any monkeys. Oh yeah, huh?
I've seen some very strange paintings.
Yes, the paintings are bizarre.
Yeah. There. I saw. I think I saw. I don't know, like an alligator man or woman. I mean, alligator's strong. The face wasn't, but like a scaly tailed person wearing robes, carrying a book, and the son of a bitch disappeared on me. But okay, that's not usual. That's good to know. No other. You didn't see any like raccoons wearing glasses, anything?
No, but this is the book that Baxter mentioned. Somebody else had it before us.
Uh-huh.
I chased them through quite a bit of the library to get it from them, but I don't know where they went either. They kind of just seemed to disappear into thin air.
Oh, some more of that. And this is the one Philip found a god in, right?
Yes. There's this weird kind of reference to this place called the Glade. And there's something called the Watcher of the Glade, that knows when a star is going to fall, like some kind of catastrophe. It's very, very strange. Very strange book.
Philip didn't say anything about catastrophe in his notes, did he?
Yeah, he said something about you can ask it like a question.
Right. He wanted something. He wanted to corner a god. That's, doesn't sound wise from a folkloric.
Yeah, don't need a degree in folklore to know that's.
Do you think that maybe Philip went there and it killed him?
What do you mean?
I mean, Myron's vision of Philip being torn apart or consumed. I mean, we assume it was the cannibal, but
I don't assume it was a cannibal. I think that Philip was visiting from a place like this. And it wouldn't, in the logic that we're accepting, in that we can have a conversation in this traveling library while we're all asleep. In that logic, I think that the thing that ate him isn't from the world that we normally inhabit.
Well, from here then, whatever this thing is, and you said you've seen crocodile person. Crocodiles eat people.
I also ran into a librarian who said the hallway I was going down led to South America. Whatever that means.
Well, I think I want to keep looking through this. I'm trying to see where Baxter got this idea of asking a god a question. I mean, this seems like I can only answer one question, but
There must be other stuff in that book.
Right. So if we could try to find other books that mention this place, like the Glade, like what's inhabitants, wildlife, or this Watcher of the Glade, if it shows up, we can start. I mean, this place doesn't have a card catalog, so trying to cross-reference things might be a little difficult.
I imagine too that copying down the Chinese characters won't do us any good unless we find somebody here. When we wake up,
If we find somebody here that
we won't be able to
find somebody here that speaks Mandarin, that'll be quite something.
Could we look back
I
at
don't
them?
trust myself to memorize this.
Could we look back at them? Sometimes things seem to change.
That's true.
Looks. Maybe has it changed language on us?
Yeah, but we're in a dream. If we're in a dream, maybe we could try and make it change to English.
Well, Baxter said that he memorized it and then had it translated. Looking at this, I don't trust myself enough to do it.
Could I have a look at it? I mean, I've worked with a lot of copy.
Hey, I could also, I could try and memorize it. I've had to memorize a lot of history, so I'm sure
since one character has already attempted this and failed, if any character wants to make a second attempt, this would be a pushed roll.
Well, I have the idea of going to ask the librarian if they have any books on Mandarin Chinese. And do we know it's Mandarin and not Cantonese? What's the difference?
It looks Mandarin to me.
Could be China, could be Japanese.
I believe the Nipponese and the Manchurians all use the same marks.
The kanji.
Would it be library?
Let's see if there's a primer.
Can I use my history knowledge to try to figure out?
I'll go ask the librarian.
Well, do they have is there anything like loose paper? I know they have like quills and stuff here.
Yeah, there's loose paper and there's quills and bottles of ink. Yep.
So I want to prepare. So if Xeno's going to go back to the desk, might as well try to save some trips. So we're looking for a book on Mandarin. We're looking for a book about the Glade and the Watcher of the Glade.
All right.
You could try something funny too. You could copy out the Asiatic marks on one of the scrap papers, and then before leaving the library, you could tuck it into your cheek and see if it didn't vanish with your clothing. I assume we'll get back to my home in our regular street clothes and not like this.
Hey, we could try and imprint the symbols on ourselves. I don't know.
As far as I know, there's no way to take things from dreams into the real world.
Have you had a dream like this before?
That's true. I mean, I don't know any of this for sure. I don't know.
I mean, this place. I mean, if
it doesn't even feel like a dream. Yeah.
This is really some kind of real, like, metaphysical plane that we're on. I wouldn't be able to see how physical objects cross that boundary, but my understanding of this place is severely limited, so I don't know.
We
But it
know that we
seemed-
went to sleep because we took a drug, and we're here.
Right. But I mean, so Baxter took notes about this place, so I think that the best method we have at the moment for conveying things back and forth is with our minds.
We could
What we
each
can
take
remember.
a smaller portion, which might be easier to bring back into the waking world. Baxter was just by himself. There's 5 of us.
The first character is at 2 vertical lines, and the first of those vertical lines has 3 bars. We could do a little mnemonic. That's
Right.
tedious.
So,
Well,
Dr. Saladin, were you going to ask
Yes.
the librarian? Okay.
And if there's any books on Glade or this Watcher in the woods.
Okay. So yeah, the librarian give me no the librarian advises. He says, "Oh yes, languages. That's very interesting. My understanding is that there are people, prophets, monks, whatever you want to call them, at the Temple of the Elder Ones who are knowledgeable on many, many languages, vast number of languages. And I believe that they would be able to help you translate this.
All right. Do you have anything on the jungle of Glade?
Well, anything that we may have on Glade is going to be contained in the book that you already have possession of.
So there's only the one resource.
That I'm aware of, yes.
All right. Thank you. So I go back and I tell Frederick, let's copy down the Chinese text. Apparently there are priests in the temple of the old ones, did you say?
Older ones.
The elder ones that speak tons of different languages, so they might be able to translate.
Let's write this down. I want to write these passages down about the Watcher of the Glade and anything else that kind of jumps out at me as I've been staring at this constantly changing book with the whispers.
Oh, I almost forgot the most important, well, maybe not the most important thing. The Burgermeister of this town. I saw an illustration of what he looks like, and he is the perfect spitting image of Matthew White, Father Baxter's
Giant
assistant, yes, who can't talk, but obviously here he's different. I wonder if we can get a chance to meet him. He seemed like a very nice boy in the real world.
Yeah, but if
I mean, Father Baxter's talk, from what I gather from you and Myron, that he was kind of very non-committal about where he learned it from. If his manservant comes here and is in some kind of position of authority, then perhaps it's from Matthew that the draft is devised.
Perhaps some manipulation of the real world on his part.
possible.
and yet Matthew White was seemed in no way reluctant about giving us vials that would bring us here.
Didn't he have a violent reaction when you were questioning Father Baxter?
He was startled by something, certainly, but he mostly seemed protective of the father.
Correct.
And he had every opportunity to give us false,
Just water in a vial, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get a sense in the image or images of him whether he was benevolent or not, or someone to be feared?
It said that he does good works. The people apparently like him in Ulthar.
That's a good sign.
To be fair, they rarely have statues that say this total bastard ruins our lives every day.
See, the thing is, if you could enter a dream, I'm wondering, you want to be something greater than you are in real life. Maybe he found a way here, and like we have, or he took it and he makes a better life for himself.
Well,
It's
perhaps
possible.
if he recognizes the two of you, Myron and Zeno, and we explain the situation of why we're here, I mean, it is night back in Providence. He might be here and he would be willing to help us. He has far more resources than we do. I mean, I gave all my coins to a painting an hour ago. So
he gave us the dream draft, so he might be expecting us.
And I still have 7 coins, so
I still have my coins as well. 4 coins.
You gave them to a painter?
A painting.
Painting.
This place is strange. When I was chasing the man who had this book, I passed a painting that was reaching out of itself with a cup. It was a beggar. And I was in a hurry and I did not want it to come out and try to stop me. I was in a hurry to follow this thing, and so I just took my little coin pouch and put it in the cup and kept going, but it transformed itself into this regal armored figure, and it had some kind of glow, and I don't feel the same since. I kind of feel this constant buzzing on like the back of my neck. It's a very, very strange place.
You're not going to look the same as you're not going to be able to look the same at astronomy and the sciences ever again, are you?
Waking up will probably adjust a great deal of things. Gentlemen,
Possibly.
How many hours do you feel you've been here?
It's hard to tell, Tom.
5 hours.
I don't. Yeah.
5 sounds good.
An hour?
5, yeah. An hour sounds good.
A few hours? I don't know. It's weird. I didn't even think about time.
Handful of minutes, sure.
I'm sure we'll wake up when we're in the morning. Time works differently here.
Philip Baxter didn't.
No, regular dreams dilate time.
Yeah.
Yes, but usually you
Already
can't
in
compare
this
that with
place.
someone else's time dilation. If one of you could say
Yes, but nothing
with
about this is like
certainty,
anything else I've ever experienced.
except for this passage in Chinese, every book seems to be written in English, doesn't it? Oh, I picked this book
seems
up at
more like an
random. Let me see
annotation.
what it is.
So as you pick up the book and you look at the inside front cover, like the cover plate, you see that it has very fine script, handwriting on the inside of the book that states that it is property of the Burgermeister of Ulthar, that it's property of the alchemists, of the royal alchemists for the Burgermeister, and yeah, there you go. It's a book on alchemy belonging to the Burgermeister and its alchemists.
Perhaps he's much more than he pretends to be in the real world. After all, how would you know in the real world if he could really speak or not?
No, he could all be an act.
He didn't seem really what I would call a mere human in our world. I mean, the fellow really was a giant. His strength seemed boundless, and his patience, and he could clearly hear, although he did not speak in my presence. So flipping through the pages of this book of alchemy, lots of symbols and diagrams that make no sense.
Yeah, it seems very pseudo. It seems like it's pseudoscience, but it seems like a pseudoscience book, almost a fictional science book, if you will.
It does seem, though, that it might provide something of a ticket to the Burgermeister's manor if the book belongs to him. I've looked at other title pages, and ownership is not something I've noticed before.
Yes. But here, could I take a look at that real fast? I need to look at something else. I'm getting almost seasick looking at this thing. Can I make an occult roll? Are these alchemical symbols similar to the alchemical symbols of Earth?
Go ahead.
Ooh, 35 is a pass.
You see many symbols that you recognize and a few that are unfamiliar.
Okay, so there's some hinting of Western European alchemical tradition in here, and then there's things that are, I don't know, strange. Almost unique to this place. I don't know what metals these could possibly be. I'm referring to.
But there's some shared language that's interesting.
Is the librarian nearby?
Yes.
Oh, I would like to walk over to the librarian and ask for any books on visitors, dreaming visitors or visitors from dreams. Is there any books on such topics?
And the librarian says, "Oh, I'm sorry. We do have books on fiction, but I'm not familiar with any with that type of plot."
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, never mind. If that's not a common storyline at all in fiction here.
No.
All right. Oh well. Thank you very much.
I'd like to scan the hub again for somebody looking academic or monasterial. Monastic is the word, I think.
Sure. Go ahead. Spot hidden.
That's more like it. 24.
And
hard success.
Hard success. Yeah, you feel like you have given this room an incredibly detailed eyeballing. You have looked around and you do not see anyone that fits the description that you are assuming.
Well, perhaps we should see if we can find this temple of the elder gods, and or find the Burgermeister and see if we can talk to him.
Yeah. Either one seems like a good place to go, so
I think I agree that although this library would seem to possess infinite potential, it's very inchoate potential. I'm more interested in the Burgermeister, but maybe that's just because I picked this book up.
Well, we've got the Mandarin copied.
You got it copied,
Piece
yes.
of paper.
And perhaps you should make a point of returning that book to the, if they call it, a front desk, since it was left by its previous reader in disarray.
I
Myron,
don't really care too much about organization here.
Do we remember which way we came in? I don't want to end up in South America.
Well, now, who found the South American archway?
Myron.
Yeah, it's almost directly across. I think it's that hub there. Well, it could be one either way.
So
When we came in,
looking at that hub, are there any similar hubs with other familiar names like Africa, Europe, Asia?
Well, it's not labeled. He found out that it goes to South America based on the word of a librarian.
Oh, okay. That's very intriguing. I mean, is this land we're in, looking at the map, none of those names seemingly correspond with our waking world. Why would this place have a name corresponding to our waking world?
If somebody said, I mean, if we went and told these people we're from Providence, Rhode Island, and we came through that tunnel, I mean, that implies that somebody has come through here from South America before, and that's where they came from. That's where they entered. We entered out in the woods, but perhaps there's some kind of they entered here.
I would also note, Corny, that the fellow that I asked had been napping when I stumbled upon him, and the corridor down which he pointed seemed to go on, well, perhaps endlessly. I don't know that we could get from one place to another using these halls.
We might not come out in the same place anyway. They said that the library moves.
I think I'd be surprised to see the 4 cats that brought us here.
Now, before we go, this book. So, what does it say about Glade, or is it all very vague and poetic?
It says perfumed Glade, whatever. I guess it smells.
So yeah, I mean that's just
good.
The one passage that had the Mandarin annotations in it. I'm just curious about the rest of it.
It's a whole book.
Yeah, it describes Glade as a dense forest full of dangers, and that it is that it contains the palace of the sacred font.
Sacred font.
Helvetica.
That's no, more like of youth, I think. That was on Philip's map.
The font of youth.
Sacred to something or someone. And Philip was desirous of
Was
it.
it Ponce de Leon that went looking for that?
In Florida, yes.
Oh, he was looking in the wrong place.
So
Okay.
Well, let's see if we can exit the library. Unless there's something else you want to look for here.
It might be, we might find that the tunnels leading out are shorter if we go higher. We came in higher.
I think we came in that one there, because I remember seeing that painting on the wall when we first walked in.
That's right.
yeah, that seems logical.
So we'll climb higher towards it.
Okay, so you turn in the chat.
The Cathoth Aquadonin.
Yes, you're so good at that. You turn that into the librarian and head up those little stairs that go to the platform, and then down the short hallway up there at the platform. As you go down this hallway, when you came in, there were stairs that you came down from, those like cellar doors that were basically on the ground outside. But as you're going down this hallway, the hallway goes and you don't see stairs. It just goes and ends at a door.
I told you, I don't think no one has left this place through the door they entered or vice versa.
Well, let's try the door and see what's on the other
Just
side.
don't step out until
The door's
we
not
speak.
labeled by any chance, is it?
No label.
It doesn't say "drink me" in very small writing.
Okay.
Well, Cornelius, maybe they should hire you and you can start labeling everything.
Oh no! Don't get him started on
Oh,
that.
with the Dewey Decimal System. It's
No,
improved.
no, Cornelius, we need to get him out of here quick.
Open
Yeah,
the door.
it's a missed opportunity because it could become the Cornelius decimal system
Could be.
or the Cuthbert decimal system.
Dewey Cuthbert.
Corny Cuth.
There you go. Corny Cuth. Fantastic. So you go through the door, open the
I'm
door.
going to open the door and
All
see
right.
what's on the other side.
Here.
Yeah, you open the door, and there's people walking around. That seems to be quite the busy locale. You smell water, and you can smell animal droppings. So and fish. You can smell fish, and so as you kind of open up, you can see. You can see that your position. This door is kind of coming out, and there's a river. There's a large river off to your right. You can see that you're kind of in a wharf area, and it's got a open, almost like an open market. There's a market right here.
You said there were people there,
and there's lots of people. Like this, people moving, milling about, and moving all over.
Whoever's close, can I yell, "You there? What town is this?"
Ulthar, are you lost?
It's Ulthar.
Okay.
And you can even see on the water, off a ways a little bit, that large bridge that you crossed over when you came into the town.
So we're in a different part of Ulthar.
Yes.
And we don't see cats mulling about, familiar cats outside.
No.
You not at this angle now.
Well, there's that orange one, the brown one, the white one,
and then the black one, the black one,
black
the black one, the black one, the black one.
The question is, are we going to stay here in Ulthar? Do we need to find a place to stay?
Well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I think we need to accompany Myron on his returning of the book.
Yeah, we all want to stay together.
Yes, we do. We don't want to separate, especially in an unknown land to us.
Because right, if we can find Matthew, if it is Matthew, and in our exploration of what befell Philip Baxter, that will help put the father's mind at ease, and I think Matthew would appreciate that. And so if he rules Ulthar, this is a pretty bustling place. He might be able to provide us with resources or lodging or something to help us.
If I step out into the street and I turn my back to the river and I look back at the city, can I see anything that looks like, can I see the Burgermeisters? Did you say there was a castle?
Yeah, it was castle-like.
Okay.
And it was elevated. It was like a keep, and it was on a rise. Like there was a mound of earth that it was on top of. So it does have that kind of lording over the land kind of view. Yeah. And you can't. So yeah, exactly. You come out of this door. The river's on your right. You'd look to your left, and there on the rise, not too far away, is that Burgermeister Keep.
Okay.
On your right, you see a pink and white. There's like several pink and white tents, so it looks like there's some kind of carnival thing going on over there. And then ahead of you, you can see an open air market.
Okay.
With people all with booths and stuff.
If that's where the Burgermeister is up there, do I see anything that looks like a church or a temple?
Give me an idea roll, please.
Okay. 34. That is a hard.
When you arrived to Ulthar with the family sitting in the wagon, you came across that stone bridge that spans the river, and you entered the town of Ulthar from the north. So you came through the north gate. Okay. Just after coming through the north gate and you're heading into the town, you're technically heading southward into the town. At that time, what would have been to your right, so to the west of the bridge, you did notice an area that looked holy and revered, temple-ish. So So you have a recollection of a place like that near the bridge, near the North Gate.
Okay. Well,
And
I
just
tell
based
everyone.
upon your spatial orientation, you feel like you're more towards the east side of town right now.
Right.
Northeast.
So go ahead.
Finding that the land outside the door is solid and we can all step out, I assume that we do. And what does the door to the library look like when we've closed it?
It looks like a
tavern?
regular door. Yeah.
Okay, no signs or markers.
Nuh-uh.
Now, what was it that we have read from Philip about circus folk? I'm wondering about those colorful tents over there.
There was somebody following him.
Yeah. A diminutive fiend, I believe. But perhaps, well, yeah, do we want to beard that dragon in its den? Or do we want to find out? My other thought regarding, assuming, of course, that that Zeno wasn't dreaming the likeness to the giant manservant. You know, perhaps Michael White is aware of both worlds, or perhaps we are all just twinned in this dreamscape, and he'll have no idea of what we speak. So far, nobody within the library has any idea that there's another world.
But he knows about the drug.
Well, the one from our reality does. But that doesn't mean that this
Don't you find it odd, though, that he knows about the drug in the real world and he exists here just like we do? Maybe he travels here.
I think that's why we want to seek him out. I just don't think we can be sure that that logic,
we don't know,
in this Lewis Carroll situation maintains.
Will we even be able to remember any of this when we wake up? We don't know.
What's my brother's name?
Peter.
That's a start.
I forgot.
Circus tent, temple. Frankly, the temple of the elder gods sounds to me.
Well, is it, which one's nearest? The tents?
You guys are right by the tents. You guys are right by the tents. You guys are right by the market, the open air market. There is a road. It looks like a fairly wide, possibly a primary avenue heading in a southerly direction towards the Burgermeister Palace. And you get a sense that maybe if you went through the market, there might be another primary road on the opposite side of the market. You're on the east side of the market. Maybe on the west side is a little road that would head further west, taking you towards the North Gate, and then from beyond that towards that palace. If that's some of your options.
Before we head out, I'd like to just open the door we came through and take a peek back. Is it a totally different place, or is it still the library?
Yeah. So you open up the door, Cornelius. You open up the door, and inside you see two people, and they're working a stove. They seem to be cooking. And so you kind of open up a door into someone's kitchen area, and they look at you, and they're like, what do you want?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. My mistake. Have a good day. And I close the door.
Okay. You can make a sand roll for that.
Yeah. Oh, no, 99.
99, you lose one sand.
Well, we can always find it again if we need to with the cats.
Yeah, you all right, Cornelius?
It's not the library anymore.
Well, That'll be fine.
Kind of guessed that might happen.
Yeah, Zeno, you can use your caps if we want to find it again, right?
Yes, that's what I just said.
I was too busy focusing on Cornelius.
Pay attention, Zebedee.
I was focusing on Cornelius.
But he was having an empathic moment.
So shall we take a look at the tents?
Yeah, I think the circus, since we're right upon it, perhaps the library brought us here. But I think unlike the library, we should stick close together.
Yes.
They're probably cut purses and worse.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I keep my trusty walking stick right by my side.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to stray too far away from each other. We don't, as I said previously, we don't really know this land, so we don't want to go splitting up.
Okay. So yeah, you guys are going over towards the carnival. Okay. So yeah, there's the carnival is set up in like an open area that's near. It overlooks the river, but there isn't like direct river access. It just overlooks it. Right. There's a low wall, and there's several tents in this area. And you see all kinds of like banners and stuff. And there's brightly decorated wagons and things like that all in this area, and it makes for kind of a nice. It's almost a very entertaining area here. So you can see there's booths with like dexterity games, right? So people are tossing rings onto bottles, and they're throwing darts at targets, at 10 paces, right, to these targets and stuff. There seems to be a strength test kind of area where people are taking a large mallet and whacking it and trying to send a weight up to strike a bell, that kind of thing.
It's right.
So there's all kinds of entertainment and stuff going on. There's little hot food vendors and stuff, and towards as you get closer to the river area, there's a few other tents, and they've got banners on them where you could supposedly go inside and see see interesting people. There seems to be a bearded woman that advertised on one panel, and there seems
so
to
there's
be
like a freak show or
there seems to be a boy with who apparently has the head of a dog over in another area, and so there seems to be a platform not too far away, and there's a guy over there, and he's got a hooked cane, and he's kind of tapping that, and he's trying to get people's attention. He's like, come on, come all, come right up, gaze upon the greatest wonders of the world. And he's kind of gesturing around at all the nearby tents, but the tent that he's standing in front of, it seems to have this like looming silhouette kind of painting. So it's unclear as to what he is trying to get folks to come in and view. Step right up. And he points at Zebedee. You, sir, you look like a man who's curious about the world.
Oh, well, yes, I am indeed.
Why then step right up, and for one thin silver, you can gaze upon one of the strangest and most unusual things that you have ever seen.
Zebedee's all nonsense, I'm sure. It's rabbits with antlers strapped.
I know, but I have all of it. I could just spell one using. I'm easily swayed. So
Yes, welcome, welcome. Yes, step right up. He doffs his hat for the acceptance of your coin.
I flip it into his hand.
Ah, thank you. And he just pops it back onto his head, coin inside. And he says, well, remember, do not touch, only look. You value your own safety.
And Zeno, what's the worst that can happen? It's just a simple. And if it's fake or whatever, so what? Harmless.
What do the rest of you think?
I think you should leave his coin purse with us. And wear a neck brace.
The land of dreams. It's. I suppose you could find leads anywhere.
Well, I'm not. I mean, who knows what they'll show him? They could show him some kind of farce from their world's perspective, but it's something that would be bizarre for us. Who knows what we'll see?
These are the kind of nonsense things that I do to get money out of people. And Zebedee just is giving away his money.
Oh. It's refreshing to hear you finally admit that, Zeno.
Don't I already give you? Don't I already give you my money?
One has to pay for one's life. That doesn't mean that everything that I do is nonsense. Obviously,
I don't see what's obvious about that.
I speak to cats.
You speak to cats in my dream.
Actually, I speak to cats in our real world too.
Then you wouldn't need to build poor Zebedee. You could just have one of those circus tents.
I kind of do, actually. Except it's a nice parlor with trappings of fortune telling.
Zebedee, you gave him your coin. Go see what the man wants to show you.
Tell us what he's got in there.
Fun.
Probably a woman with a snake.
I just stroll in.
Very likely, once he's inside, they'll ask for more money to see the naked woman or something like that.
Is Zebedee going alone?
Apparently.
I have no coin.
I think we got 4 coins.
Cornelius, join me, and I flip another coin to the man. For
Oh my.
Cornelius to join me.
And he quickly, catches the coin and then returns it to his head.
I don't want to go alone, Connie.
All right.
All right, so Zebedee and Cornelius are going?
Yeah.
Okay. So is the barker using his cane, he pulls aside the tent flap and he says, please, at your leisure.
Okay. I walk in.
Okay, and
Right.
as you go into the tent, there is a person. There's a dwarf standing just inside the tent, and you hear a sheep bay as he's holding this leash with the sheep. Okay, and so as you come in, the dwarf looks up at you and slaps the leash into your hand, and he says you'll need to take this with you and put it through the gate, and he slaps the ass of the sheep.
Okay. Cornelius.
You're doing a great job, Zeb. Great job.
Now, when you entered, when you were outside, the tent probably looked like it was maybe 10 feet in diameter. Not huge. But as you get inside, and the dwarf, he exits out of the tent flap, and as it closes behind him, you can see that there's there's a curtain running, and it's created because the curtain is running parallel with the outer wall of the tent, and since it's a round tent, it's this curved wall. Well, you're going through this curved corridor, and it's much. You must have been misjudging the size of this tent. It is not 10-foot diameter. You're continually walking around this corridor, and you feel like you've been walking at least 25 or 30 feet of this corridor. Okay. And eventually you can start seeing there's like torchlight up ahead. And so you kind of come around, and finally there's something to see, but it's not much. So there is the inner wall, the inner tented wall has stopped, and now there's a metal gate that runs across, and the outer wall is now not curving, it's also straight. And so you've got the outer curtain wall on your right, and on your left is iron bars. It's a gate. And you can see there is like a small waist high little gate door, or a little swing door in this metal gate. And it has an easy latch. You could just simply undo the latch, open it, and it would be just big enough to shoo a small animal through.
Cornelius, did that seem like it took a bit longer than it should have?
Yeah, this doesn't quite seem right. We are in a dream, though, so I'm prepared to be amazed. But
and the sheep, what? Did the dwarf say open the hatch?
He did say to send it through the gate.
Well, it's either going to be something magnificent or something bullshit. So I open and if it's not going to move, I just kick it a little bit to go through the hole.
Okay. So the torches that are kind of illuminating, they're kind of right here in front of you. And so as you look kind of past the torches into the gated area, it looks like there's straw on the ground. There, it looks like there's maybe a couple of casks, wine barrel casks in there. There looks to be a pile of, it looks just like dry feed. So, and everything, there's a lot of shadows everywhere. And so, you open up the gate, and you kind of push the sheep, and it must see that pile of feed. So it kind of trots straight for that little pile of feed, and it bays, and you shut the little gate behind it, and it bays and goes over there, and it's just kind of munching on the feed. Okay.
I'm not sure if I want to watch.
Yeah, well, this either something's gonna happen to a sheep, or that is the wonder. Like, it's just a sheep eating for like 20 minutes.
The hungry sheep wonder.
As you're watching, suddenly something large drops down from the ceiling, and it grabs the sheep and picks it up, and it begins to it stabs it with a stinger, and it begins to munch and chew on this thing. It is a giant spider, which I know Zebedee is well affected from. So I need sand rolls from the two of you, please.
Oh God.
You're good to go now, Zeb.
Okay, cool. Oh, fuck me.
Whew. 30. Beat it.
That would be.
Cornelius, you do not have a fear of spiders. You will only lose one.
I failed, which is kind of, it goes with the...
Oh no.
Okay. I would like you to roll a D10 plus 2.
Oh god, is that a 10? So I take that's 10.
So you
That's
rolled a
10.
10?
Yeah, altogether, yeah, it's 10. Yeah.
Oh, you rolled an 8. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you lose 10, San. You may make an idea roll.
When you have high intelligence.
How long have they been inside for those of us waiting?
It's only been a couple of minutes.
I have 70 intelligence, and I rolled a 72.
Wow, you are so lucky. Nice, well done. But yeah, you still have a minor bout, which is you do relieve your bladder, and so you have weed yourself.
That would be me. That'd be me in real life if I saw that.
Yeah. So yeah, this thing it drops down and grabs this sheep, and the sheep has stopped baying.
Okay, if I notice that Zeb's like freaking out, well, I mean, I'm kind of freaking out too. I grab Zeb and I start backing up quickly.
Yeah, because you're just gonna have to just carry me out of here.
Yeah, I'm taking him out of there. No, we've been through the war together. It's all good. Peeing oneself, it happens.
I've just
We're
got
out
pissed.
here.
I just got pissed dripping down my leg.
Each of you, please make a listen roll.
That's a fail. That's
Totally clueless.
Okay.
92.
Fantastic. Yeah. So you can see there's like a little slit of light, and so as you head forward across the face of this gate, this fencing or whatever, there's a exit door right there, and you let yourself out of the tent flap, and you guys all see Zebedee and Cornelius coming out of the left side of the tent, kind of the left back side of this small round tent.
What was she attractive?
Zebedee's as white as a sheet.
Zebedee is white as a sheet, and his trousers are wet.
There was a giant spider. It ate the sheep. Good God. It was bigger than the ones we saw back in our own world. It was huge.
Are you sure it wasn't just a puppet of some kind?
It came down and killed a very live and real, well, whatever is real, sheep.
It couldn't have been that big. The tent's not that big.
It's bigger on the inside.
That's what she said. I think probably there were mirrors involved or convex lenses.
We took many steps. It was like to get from the entrance to the gate where we were, it was like at least 30 steps. So it wasn't any mirrors.
You said it was a big spider again, yes?
It was very big. It descended from pretty high up.
It was.
Do you think it's interesting that I didn't see the giant spiders before, and I don't see the giant spiders this time? You know, perhaps in a dreamscape, you're bringing in imagery from your own fears.
Maybe. Should we go in and take a look?
I will happily give you some of my coins. You can go.
Honestly, I'd rather try to find some tobacco with one of those. I'm pretty sure I saw a shop on the high street. Cornelius, why didn't the Dreamland give us any money? Still really annoyed about that.
That's a very good question. But all I know is, real or not, if this is a dream, it was still there. I mean, it might be in our imagination, but we're dreaming this. So
hey,
it's all of this in our imagination.
Here's a test. If I wake up and my pants are wet when I wake up, it happens.
Well, you're wearing different pants, so
I'm curious, but it's not a high priority. Does anybody want to go take a look at the giant puppet spider?
I'm curious, but I feel as though we have more on our
Pressing things
plate.
to do?
I want to find the scary little man that Philip thought was following him, or
Well,
move on to the temple or the.
I
How do
think
you
if we
feel,
sh-
Frederick? Stop playing with that cat. There's cats everywhere.
I need new
You don't tell me what to
rags.
do, Zeno.
I need
I
to
say if we take this cat and the book and we go visit the Burgermeister
Yeah,
and
I
then
agree.
stop off at the temple on our way out of town.
Also,
Sure.
I think I need new clothes.
Do I see
Yeah.
the guy that sold us that admitted us after the coin we gave?
Yes.
The Barker's probably
Yes,
still
the Barker's still there.
Okay, so I go over to him. It's like, what on earth was that creature? Never seen anything like that. It's so huge.
And so the Barker looks at you and he said, "And give me a psychology roll, actually, before anything."
Zebedee, there's a
Ooh.
peasant emporium right over there where you can get some pants.
Success.
Success. It's a standard.
So he's, you see, he's looking at you. He's smiling. He's kind of laughing, and then you're asking him about the attraction, and he just kind of chuckles and says, "Well, yes, she's magnificent, isn't she?"
She could escape. She's very dangerous. But
Another satisfied customer. Please move along. Move along.
my God.
And then he looks at you and he goes, "Please move along."
Okay, I move along. There's no, good God.
Zebedee, there's a peasant clothing emporium right there. You just get you a new pair of pants.
I will slowly go get some new clothes.
You have 6 coins left, so hey.
All right, you with 2 more coins, you're able to get some new pants.
Okay.
The economics of this place make no sense. If you saw a sheep being fed to a giant spider for 2 silvers, and it cost another 2 silvers for a pair of rather clunky sewn flaxen trousers, then sheep here are worth nothing.
Well, maybe they
We
don't
could
feed a
dine on
sheep.
mutton.
Maybe they
every
don't
minute.
feed a sheep every time, Myron.
Right.
Maybe
it's
they just were too lazy to have employees, so they have a guest occasionally bring the thing of sheep.
Well,
I
they
still
can't.
think
They
it
can't
was
send
fake.
cats in, and they
No.
can't let the sucker go in alone. I don't know.
I
Maybe
still think
they.
it was faked.
It's the same sheep every time, and the same fake giant spider. That's
Yeah.
It wasn't fake. Zeno, it's something we'll have to speak about in one of my sessions.
At the clothing emporium, can I get a new shirt?
Yes, you
Borrow
can.
some money so I can
one
get a
with
new
less
shirt.
monkey shit.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
with less
that
monkey
I'd
shit,
appreciate
preferably.
it. If I had any money, I'd give you some to get a less
Well,
monkey shit.
I can help you out if you need money.
All right.
If
it'll
we
take
find a tobacconist, I could really use a cigar.
It'll take 1 coin for a new shirt, and there is a tobacco shop nearby, and you can get 3 cigars for a coin.
Anyone help a poor banker?
Sure.
How the tables have turned.
Just remember
in the
when we're
dream
back in the
world.
real world.
I can get you a case of excellent Cubans.
The poor history teacher is the richest.
I'll
in the
have them
dream
clean
world.
my house.
All right. So you guys have new clothing. You have some cigars. What do you do?
Well, why were we coming to here in the first place? Were we looking for somebody, the short man?
The little. Yeah, I'm thinking the freak show.
Okay.
And here's my thought on this. we've only read a brief description of this dark little man, but I think that if this figure was bothering Philip, it will recognize us. And if I'm wrong, we'll hurry on.
You guys can each give me a spot hidden.
Ooh, that is an extreme success.
Yeah,
Regular.
hard.
So after you have done things like getting your new clothing, getting the cigars and stuff, you're kind of still near the carnival, and you do see a little person talking to the carnival barker, who you paid to go and see the mysterious creature.
Is that the same goat man, Zebedee? Cornelius?
It is the same.
Yes, Batman.
Is he dark?
He seems swarthy, dark complected.
Oh, that guy.
Here, I've been thinking of another experiment about this place. I don't really have much in the way of foreign languages, but some of you must both speak the same foreign language.
I speak Latin and Greek.
Speak Latin.
I know some Latin.
I'm curious as to whether the locals will understand you if you're speaking Latin.
Interesting.
And you could even have a conversation to make it more compelling. Go up and ask the little fellow if he knows how to get to Rhode Island. And we'll see whether it sparks some light of recognition.
All
You
right.
see what I'm dreaming about?
I'll walk up to the short little man and say, in Latin, "Excuse me, sir. Do you know how to get to Rhode Island from here?"
And so he looks up at you and he says, there's no need to use languages as cumbersome as that.
Did you understand me?
Of course I did. Do you understand me?
Indeed, I do.
What is it that you want?
Well, actually, we would like to speak with you over here, if you don't mind, for a moment. And I point to my friends.
Oh, gang of ruffians. Gonna jump me, are you? Think you can take me on because I'm smaller than you are?
Oh, are you? I didn't notice. No, we're right here in the middle of the street. We're not going to jump you.
Fine. And he follows you.
Myron, apparently he can understand Latin as well as English, so what did you want to ask him?
First of all, I'm relieved or intrigued that my guess is true, that all languages here are understood by all parties, except for that bit of text you have in your pocket. Maybe he can read it too.
Oh, are you
since
talking
he's-
to me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we're all together again, I believe.
Right.
Yes, and the little person has joined you as well.
Mm-hmm. And my name is Dexter. Good fellow. What should we call you?
I am Barnabas. And he bows.
An honor to meet you, Barnabas. We've come looking for an old friend of ours named Baxter. Did you ever know a Baxter?
Yes, I was aware of Philip Baxter. I know he quested to find the Palace of the Secret Font. I offered my services, but he never returned. I assumed that he has given up on that quest.
Well,
Fine.
we believe that he's probably dead.
Interesting.
What services were you going to offer him? Exactly.
I would be a guide.
So you're familiar with Glade?
I have been through Glade on occasion. It is not a place for the timid, the weak, or the inexperienced.
Where
You
are
wanna-
we going to be a guide to him for?
Well, I had heard that word had gotten around that he was snooping around and trying to gain information about how to get to the Palace of the Secret Font. Things like that'll get a man dead.
What would you charge for such a service?
Well, what have you got?
What do we have? I think I have a couple of coins left.
I assume it's a little bit different every time. What's valuable here more than silver?
Why? A favor, a debt of honor, service. There's all kinds of things that are worth more than coin.
Yeah. And have you been to the font yourself?
I have seen the palace, but I've never entered.
It doesn't draw you?
I have no desire. But if I can earn a living by being a guide, it's as good a call as any.
So what are you doing with the circus here?
Passing the time.
Probably not a bad place to meet travelers.
Indeed.
And that creature you keep in there.
We had our friends convinced it was real.
Indeed.
It was real. It was.
If it was fake, it was the most realistic one I've ever seen.
Are there spiders like that in Glade?
Oh, no, nothing quite so much as that in Glade. Far, far worse, I'm sure.
Did Baxter ever tell you whence he came, Barnabas?
Well, he comes from the waking world, as do you.
Yes, we do.
How
Do
can
you?
tell that we're from the
No.
working world?
Don't be silly. Don't be silly. I am native to this realm, but my eyes are open.
How does that happen? It seems as though a lot of your fellows are not aware that this plane is separate from others.
They are of a simple folk. They lead a simple life. They don't know because they choose not to know.
And what of the Burgermeister?
The Burgermeister, indeed, yes. He is an outworlder like yourself.
Do you have interest in the outworld?
None.
Give us a moment, please, Barnabas. I take the others aside. I'm thinking we want to meet the Burgermeister. Perhaps we want to use this fellow to guide us, but we are almost out of money. I'm thinking we're in a circus sitting in a situation here. Maybe I can use my skills to convince people that I'm a fortune teller and I can get some money.
I'm quite hoping, I'm still holding out that Matthew is the Burgermeister and that he'll be willing to give us some resources to
Well,
help
we
us on
can
our way.
find that out while I'm rounding up some money, but I could use a shill, someone who is amazed by my abilities in
No,
order to
Zebedee.
get other people interested.
I guess that is me then,
All right.
considering I'm the most open to you.
So should we stay here a day or so, see if we can meet the Burgermeister, and then ask our friend here, Barnabas?
Well, I mean, first see if Barnabas can get you a job at the circus place, and we can meet you back after our visit to the man on top.
All right. And I need a place to stay. Do people
What
sleep
is-
here?
What's the sun look like?
It seems to be moving. It at times it seems like it was lower, then it's back higher. It's not seeming to follow, but now that you seem to be like making the assumptions that it's later in the day, it now is positioned lower.
Let's try it. Barnabas, I would like to earn some money from these people so that we have some cash. I am a fortune teller from the other world. Is there a place I could set up here? Well, we want to raise some money to pay you.
Ah, well, that is good indeed. I don't work for free, that is known.
Well, we also would like to meet the Burgermeister, but my friends will work on that problem.
Well, if you want to set up a shop here, you'll need to clear it with the boss first.
And who's that?
She is
A lady.
she is Hynaria.
Well, what can I meet her?
Right this way.
All right, Zebedee, you're going to come with me?
Yes, of course I will. I will hype you up.
I'll
Okay.
try to earn some money. First, we got to meet this Hyperia.
So Barnabas leads you back to the barker, the carnival barker, and the tent that he's in front of. And so as you are approaching, he's the barker sees you guys coming, goes, come on, come see the amazing mysteries of the universe. And then Barnabas kind of comes up ahead of you guys, and he looks up and he says, they're here to meet Hynaria. And the barker seems to quiet down immediately, and he goes, yes, of course. And he just uses his cane, and he pulls open the flap to his tent. My apologies. Please go right ahead.
I look over at Zebedee. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
All right, I'll go through the tent.
And I follow him.
All right, so Zebedee, you need, due to what you assume is inside this tent, you're going to need to fail a sand roll, because if you make a sand roll, in this case, the inverse is going to be true. If you make your sand roll, you are too scared to enter. But if you fail, you can muster up the guts to go in.
I have low SAN, so I have 26 sanity. So
So you don't have the brains to be scared.
I have a... That's just an O2.
O2.
Yes. You're like, no way.
Nope. You run back to the others.
Zeno, I'll wait out here. You just
Fine.
Yeah, you going. I'll wait here. Oh yeah.
Fine.
And
all right.
So as you see Barnabas and Zeno go into the tent, Zebedee, you do notice that the carnival barker, he does have like cold sweat kind of trickling down his face. He's like, yeah, same here, man, same here. And so Zebedee enters. So Zebedee, the dwarf, Zeno, the dwarf leads you in, and it's this long, arcing, curving corridor. And so finally it comes to this cage, and inside you see a large mass dangling. The ceiling is dark. You can't even see the inside of the ceiling inside the cage. But there's a white thread dangling from the ceiling, and then just kind of dangling there, not touching the ground, is a large white mass that seems to be cocooned in webbing, and it's just slowly rotating. And there's a couple of large wine casks in the room. The floor is covered in straw, and it's dark back past the wine casks. You can't see the back end of this room. But as you guys come into this area, so the cage is right in front of you, you hear a hissing voice kind of emanating from the darkness beyond the wine casks. And it says,
what is he doing here?
And Barnabas says, he's interested in setting up a shop, and he has a craft that he wants to ply to earn coin to hire me.
I need money. We have almost none at the moment, and I am a teller of fortunes.
Step closer.
All right. A little closer, but I'm like ready to run.
Okay. Yeah. So you're like right by the metal cage, and then you hear, this, and it's this very large dark shape on spindly legs kind of rushes forward from the darkness and stepping over those wine casks, and then it almost has to lower its body, its huge torso down, and you can see the abdomen is bright purple with yellow striping on it, and these multifaceted eyes, and this large mandible is just like right in your face. Make a sand roll. It is on the other side of the cage wall, though.
I got a 10.
That's awesome.
But I want to roll like a dex roll to see if I don't fall over backwards.
You may do that.
45. Yeah, so I'm at it. I stumble back, but I don't fall down.
And so this thing, it stops right in front of the bars. It doesn't crash itself into the metal bars. And so with your successful sand roll, you may roll a D3.
Three.
Okay. And so the mandibles move, and you hear this whispering voice come out, and she says,
Yes. You seem to have a spark. You may ply your wares.
Do I have to give you a percentage?
Yes.
10%.
1/10 of what you earn is mine.
That seems fair. Do I give it to you directly, or do I give it to Barnabas here,
My man outside.
the Barker.
And then, without saying anything else, she retreats into the darkness.
Thank you, Barnabas.
Barnabas slaps you on your hip and says, "Ha ha! I thought you were going to get eaten. I'm surprised that went so well for you. All right, let's go."
All right.
And I think that would be a good place for us to close this chapter today.
All right. Our players included Morgan Llewellyn, Stuart Lively, Josh Harwood, David Gasway, and myself with John Hook as the Keeper of the Secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer art of gameplay and game mastery. There's a link below. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows, free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The cost involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We have a new patron. General Dipper has pledged $5 a month. Thank you so much, General Dipper. If you would like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good game.